Do you remember, guys, a few weeks ago when Benjamin Netanyahu came to the White House and Trump shocked Bibi and told him that the United States was going to hold direct talks with Iran? And you saw Netanyahu kind of like do the what? And he started like getting all nervous and his hands started fluttering around and he didn't know what to do with his hands. Well, Israeli media, not U.S. media, Israeli media are reporting that Netanyahu wasn't even planning to come. He was in Hungary at the time when he was suddenly summoned by President Trump to get to Washington, D.C. ASAP. Usually it's the other way around. Like we do Israel's bidding. Like, hey, Trump, get here. Yes, I'll be right there, sir. But this time Trump said, come here. And he did. And he wasn't planning to meet him. And he got the news while he was in Hungary with Viktor Orban. And he was told, get here now. Israeli media said that Bibi was shocked about the U.S. holding talks with Iran directly, not using some sort of a proxy. And we're hearing that Trump told him the U.S. would not be involved in attacking Iran directly. Who knows if indirectly at this point? I mean, we provide their weapons. Well, we're now hearing that Israel is still contemplating a, quote, limited strike on Iran without the United States' help. And we're also hearing that that's not making the White House very happy at all. And could all of this have to do with Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth with this massive attack campaign against him over this Signal chat story over the past few days? Well, Drew Berquist is author of The Maverick Experiment, former CIA, joins us now to dive into this. And I like Drew's take on this. Very, very clear-headed on all of this, not spinning propaganda. Drew, welcome back to the show. Good to see you.
Hey, thanks for having me back. It's good to be here.
So a lot to unpack here, but I don't believe in coincidences. And I have sources who are telling me that this is a coordinated attack. I don't know what your sources are telling you on Pete Hegseth. But here's a guy who's saying we're not going to attack Iran for you. And we have the reporting last week about President Trump waving off this attack. The group around him, J.D. Vance, Tulsi Gabbard, Pete Hegseth, and even neocon Mike Waltz was like real skeptical about it. And then you have this suddenly coordinated attack. NPR releases this piece. I'll put this up on the screen. The White House has begun the process of looking for a new Secretary of Defense. To which Rapid Response 47, which is the White House response, said, wrong, fake news. So to me, all of this smells dirty, and it all smells like it's part of the same story. What say you, Drew?
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I've been listening to you talk about it, and we've spoken about it as well over on my show. And it's look, this just reeks of typical DC nonsense, right? You're not going to go along with our plan. You're not going to let us make money and get involved in more wars. Then we're going to come after you. We're going to smear you. We're going to try and force you out of your position. The difference is with this administration is they just don't care. Like Pete's our guy. He's on board with what we're trying to do here. So that tactic is not going to work here. And I think it's absolutely right. And it drives, I mean, nothing drives DC and the neocons and all the different warhawks that are there, the military industrial complex writ large, more crazy than people pushing back and having a sensible approach to foreign policy and wars. Like, maybe we shouldn't do that. Like, we shouldn't actively seek out getting involved in more stuff that we don't actually need to be involved in. And that to them just breaks their brain. Like, what? Like, what are we going to do then? So they go on the offensive. And I think that's absolutely part of what's happening here.
And I can tell you the sources I've spoken to have members of Israeli off the books members of the Israeli intelligence community who are jumping on social media. They have Mossad connections. That's confirmed. And they are actively torpedoing Pete Hegseth, and they're putting out false reports about this. So this clearly seems like it's coordinated, that maybe Israel is pissed that the Trump administration is stepping back and not wanting to be involved in this direct attack on Iran. I mean, I don't see another way to read it. To me, it's like Occam's razor. But
yeah, I think it's 100% right. And you said it earlier, like we have always historically, it's been the opposite. We have done the bidding of Israel. And it's not to say that they can't be allies and friends, but it also doesn't mean that we just have to sit back and take it and do whatever they say. That's just not practical. It's not smart. And in this situation, they're trying to bully the person or the country that they need most in their corner into doing something that just doesn't make sense, and it's not going well. So they're having to stoop to tactics like that. And look, Mossad's really capable. There's some components of that government who are super capable in terms of the intel stuff, information operations, all the stuff that they do. And sometimes that bites us in the back end. So like, I think it totally makes sense what's going on there. And this broader conversation, the overall issue that's happening is just utter insanity.
What benefit would there be to the United States for the United States to help attack Iran?
Zero. I mean, there's no benefit whatsoever. It makes no sense. It would escalate things so quickly. Look, would we curb stomp the you know what out of Iran in a country on country conflict? Absolutely. Do we want that? No. The American people have overwhelmingly said in the mandate to President Trump and this new administration, we don't want foreign wars. And that was pretty clear the first time around too, but we don't want foreign wars. Iran stirs up all sorts of stuff all over the globe, not just in the Middle East. And this would absolutely escalate into something much, much bigger if we did this. There's no benefit. Look, we're so used to in this country and accustomed to fighting wars for the sake of wars. Oh, what if they've got bad intentions? They're close to nuclear weapons. All those things are true. Their government, not the people on the streets, but their government are terrible. And they hate us so much and they hate Israel. But that doesn't mean that we just send our sons and daughters to fight. And this is a weird thing for me too. I'll tell you, like I used to be in, I deployed nearly 30 or over 30 times, I think, to the Middle East doing operations for the intel community. And myself and my teammates, we were hungry for war. Like, where's the new war? Let's go get it. And I'm so mad at myself for feeling that way back in the day, because now it's like, man, this is so dumb. We should steer clear of this at all cost if we can. And because it really is, there's no benefit to us really whatsoever.
Well, that's an incredible sign of maturity. I mean, to say, I'm so mad at myself for feeling that way. And you've grown tremendously. And I think a lot of veterans would say the same thing. A lot of the veterans that we have on the show, whether it's Colonel McGregor or Colonel Davis or, you name it, they've been there, they've seen it, they've killed men. And they're like, absolutely, we should not be involved in these foreign boondoggles anymore. It's only enriching the military industrial complex and it's destroying the United States of America. Full stop.
Yeah, 100%. It's destroying families. The phone calls that are made, all of the stuff that comes with it is just terrible. And when it comes to these situations, and it seems like we're starting down this path now with Trump and Hegseth and Tulsi and some of the folks that are in lockstep with him on this, is look, when it comes, sometimes it's the simple answers right in front of you. When it comes to these foreign wars and even with Israel, who has been a friend on a lot of issues. I think there's some other stuff that doesn't get talked about enough in that relationship, but different episode. Like just because they're our friends and they want to go do something stupid and start a full-scale war with Iran doesn't mean that we should be involved. Like we've got to be able to do that, whether it's there or in Ukraine with Europe and the little dancer dude over there. Like, hey man, if you want to do stupid stuff, go ahead by all means. We're going to do our thing over here and just kind of watch from afar. Like we don't have to get involved in this. And historically we always have. But we make so many decisions in this country, whether it's about war or the economy or the border or fill in the blank with, well, that's how we've always done it. Well, how we've always done it is stupid. Like name something that we've done smartly over our lifetimes. And the more that we get older and we do mature and we see things differently, it's like, oh man, like we've done it all wrong.
Yeah, it's really true. I can't point to a single instance where I said, yeah, this is great. What we did in Iraq, it's been fantastic, which was Israel's bidding, was Israel's bidding, by the way. What we did in Libya has been fantastic. What we helped coordinate in Syria has been fantastic. Afghanistan, Serbia, Somalia, Haiti. I mean, it fries my brain to think about it. I can't wrap my head. Do you think that the Trump administration is going to cave on this? I mean, I don't want to put words in your mouth, I'm saying this. I think the Israeli lobby, the AIPAC organizers, the Mossad people who are actively going on social media and slamming Pete Hegseth are really trying to bring him down. They want to replace him with a neocon in there, absolutely do the bidding of this. Do you think that Trump is going to be successful in stopping this and protecting Pete Hegseth, or do you think they're going to cave by the end of the week?
I have my concerns. I don't know. The short answer is I don't know. I think that, historically, there's been some decisions, particularly when it comes to personnel and understanding DC and just how the whole thing works. He understands it a lot better this time. He's got, less to lose this time. But I also wouldn't say without reservation, like, oh, no, he'll never cave on this. The administration will do the right thing. I don't feel that confident about it. I'd like to think that they'll do the right thing here. But there's been enough things over the years, including the last term. And look, I love Trump. Trump's done amazing things. I'm all about it. Voted for him 3 times. But he's also not perfect. The administration's not perfect. And he's operating in this broke-ass environment that is D.C., where nothing makes sense and it doesn't work and everyone's out to get you. So I wouldn't be shocked. I think it's kind of a coin flip.
Yeah. We'll see if he caves. But, we had, I'll just play this and we'll get you out of here, Drew. This is from this morning, just a few, because we saw yesterday President Trump at that Easter egg roll saying that, Pete's doing a great job. Ask how great he's doing. Ask the Houthis how he's doing, But anyway, he said, I fully back, support him. And then this morning, Caroline Leavitt once again doubling down on this. So take a look at that. He rolled. Yeah, there he goes. Go ahead, play this one.
The president stands strongly behind Secretary Hegseth, who is doing a phenomenal job leading the Pentagon. And this is what happens when the entire Pentagon is working against you and working against the monumental change that you are trying to implement. Secretary Hegseth was nominated for this position because he is standing up for the war fighter, the men and women in uniform who are putting their lives on the line to protect our country and our homeland. And unfortunately, there have been people at that building who don't like the change the secretary is trying to bring, so they are leaking and they are lying to the mainstream media. We've seen this game played before. The secretary is doing a tremendous job, and the president stands strongly behind him.
So something she said there stood out to me. The entire Pentagon is against him. He's there trying to. That's 20,000 people. Do you think that that's the case?
I think that seems a little extreme, but I think that's a thing that we tend to forget on our side. Everyone's so excited about the wins we're getting. This cabinet's great. Trump's doing so many great things with executive orders. Hopefully we can get to the point where we're doing some more of it with law. But there's still so much left over. I mean, starting back with the Obama administration, the amount of people that kind of infiltrated all these organizations throughout the country, not just in D.C., but all these organizations everywhere. There's a lot of people there who are still not on board with everything we're doing, and some of them have some clout. Now, do they have as much clout as SecDef or obviously the president? No, but there is going to be pushback. So I think that there's that. When it comes to the caving, by the way, it's just so nice not to have someone in an Easter Bunny suit have to wrangle presidents or staff at the at the egg roll. But the thing is with this, like I would be shocked if they caved on him. I say coin flip because I have my concerns about how strong DC is. I'm more concerned about caving on the Israel issue than I am about actually on Pete. That's where I hope he really, and the two should go in lockstep, obviously, but that's where I hope that he really, Trump, Pete, Tulsi, all of them remain in lockstep and just say, no, we can be friends. You're not doing this. If you do it, you're on your own. We'll see where it goes from there. But that number, I don't know. It's not that many. But these organizations are very partisan now. I mean, I'm telling you, the intel community that I lived in towards the end was very different than the beginning. There was lots of you were encouraged, or at least maybe not encouraged, but coddled when you spoke out about administration, something you're not supposed to do. Like I always just served whoever the president was. I disagree with Obama, but I'm going to go do the mission, and he's going to make it hard for us to do the mission. It's going to be terrible. And people are going to leave their jobs, but I'm going to do what we're supposed to do. And then when Trump's there, we're going to do it this way. But the culture shift has been strong, and it does carry some weight.
Yeah, I appreciate what you're saying. I hope that, hey, they took some Israel lobbying money during the campaign, but that is enough that's not enough for them to like make changes inside their administration and go to war with Iran. No, thank you for, we'll still have Israel's support. But we are not going to put Americans in the line of fire in Iran, despite the fact that we took lobbying money from you for my presidential campaign. I hope that's the case. Drew, great to see you. Love your take on this, and I think it's a really clear-headed take. So we'll see at the end of the week here. Hopefully these reports are false, that Pete will not be out by the end of the week.
I sure hope
Thanks,
so.
Drew. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me again.